All right, so one of the biggest consistency killers is chopping the backhand. So today's mission is stop the chop. Stop chopping your slice backhand, which makes the ball float. That's what we're going to work on. That was, according to the survey, I read over and over again that many of you said, my backhand is choppy. That's how you all explain it. It's choppy, meaning the ball is just floating, it's sitting there, and you're having trouble being more accurate and getting a slice that drives to the court consistently. So that's what we're going to work on today. Let's get started, and I'll be back with our first video to kind of explain why this is happening. Some of the killers, the consistency killers, that's making you chop your backhand slice. Okay, so here are the three main consistency killers we're looking to eliminate today that make the ball choppy, that make the ball float. Number one is that many people out there are using their elbow to release and slice the ball. You actually want to keep that elbow not moving too much as you're getting ready to hit and work more on that shoulder coming through. Look how my arm, fairly straight, there's a little bend in it, and I'm coming through. Look how much the elbow's moving at this point. Hitting there, going through. We're going to also teach you an advanced slice today that's more, I guess, a modern slice, which has more racket head speed, more power, but I'm also going to explain how that could also be messing you up if you're watching someone like Roger Federer's got a beautiful slice and you're trying to copy that, how that can also turn into a choppy, floaty slice. So the first one is not using the elbow to get that action, which is really tempting because you feel like you can really get some nice bite by doing that, but this is making your ball float and be choppy. The next one is, again, watching Federer can be really dangerous, and that's coming from a too high to too much down on the ball. Now what ends up happening, slice naturally rises because our strings are slightly open when we're going through this whole progression. So we come up here and we dramatically come down on it. By the time we do that, it's going to have this effect to where as we come down and the rack face is open, it again starts to be more of a floaty slice. So one of the things that Roy Emerson taught me on the slice is, you know, those old Australian players had some great driving slices. Of course, it's been modernized today, but I think when we're first learning how to do it, if you're having a lot of trouble with your control, is he talked about he would keep his racket right about shoulder height here, and then more think about driving through the ball. And I think that's the first thing we want to really focus on, is learning how to really feel the connection to the ball. So if you're someone who's watching all these pros, which I'm going to recommend that we do get up here, but some of you are too dramatic, way up here, coming down, and then the ball again flies. And then of course, the third consistency killer is that contact point. If you're getting too close to the ball, which is going to make the elbow bend, right, then you're going to have a tough time. So we want to really, again, work on, I love bringing out the broom. Again, I know I got the Topspin Pro here, but it doesn't have to be a Topspin Pro. It can just be a tennis ball that you put on the ground, or a cone, or a sock if you're working at home. But really figuring out, when I come here in my position and I go to hit, you know, how far away do I have to be? And again, for me, I'm about 6'1". It seems like always starting at about the end of the handle and then taking a nice step, I feel pretty good spacing. As I start to work inside the broom, then to hit, I have to make adjustments. So the slice is a great thing, which we're about to get into our off-court drills. I think it's an excellent thing to really practice off the court to really get these moves down, because I find that if you don't have a good slice, it's one of the hardest things to start to master the feel of, but once you get it, it can feel really great, and it can be a go-to shot that you can hit a lot of balls in. People can hit the ball very hard, and you just kind of take the pace off, and you keep the rally going, and since the ball is staying low and if you can get it to bite, you can get a lot of unforced errors out of it. So let's go next to our off-court drills. Remember, you can do them on the court if you want, just like we are today, but you can also do them at home. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is focus on what our first move is going to be. I think there's 2 acceptable moves that you can do to get into a nice slice backhand. The first thing we want to do though is we want to make sure we're in the right grip, which is the continental grip. So you just come here, put your webbing in here, chopper grip. Make sure that you can comfortably kind of hit your hand like this, going like that. Feel like a hammer and a nail right here. Now you're in that continental grip, okay? The next thing you want to figure out is, you can play with both, is do you want to go about shoulder height here? This is how the old school pros used to do it. And Roy Emerson says he likes it here, and you know, he played with Ken Rosewall. Maybe he will consider Ken Rosewall the best slice of all time. He liked to be here so he could really stay level and drive through the ball. I do think that there's too many people out there way up here chopping down, the ball goes up, because you know, that's the way Roger Federer kind of looks, and he can be tough to copy because it looks so good, but for most players, you're gonna, I think, pick up bad habits. The next is, you can go, well, I do want to look more new school. I like to call this the jut the butt move, to where, again, I like to work when I'm working on the slice or tossing backhand with one hand. I like to really focus on the offhand. And what you can do is basically you take the racket butt and you put it out to the side like that, even back a little bit, like you can go to sleep on your string bed, and then you grab the racket. Now notice in both positions, the elbow has a very slight bend. A lot of people end up having choppy backhands because their elbow is very bent. It's tightened here and it's very bent, and that makes you chop at your backhand. Notice when you get set, you want to really feel like you're pulling that shoulder, and now you're in this position. So you can either be here, take a look at that. You can either be here or you can be a little lower here. Either one is fine. You just don't want to be up there too much. Okay, so either just above your shoulder or just below your shoulder. I think those are the 2 positions you want to find yourself in. And look how the strings are very, very open. This is what makes it dangerous for where it can fly. So that's the first thing you want to practice, is again, thinking like a gunslinger and working on finding that position where you could do it in your sleep. In the beginning, you might want to just take your non-dominant hand and practice getting to where you want it to be. Do you want it to be just below the shoulder? Do you want it to be just above the shoulder? And make sure you get in that power position. Because if your racket butt is facing in this way, again, this is where you're going to have a floaty, choppy slice, because you got no power coming at it. When we're going to hit a topspin backhand with one hand, we want that power position. When we're going to hit a slice, again, it's kicking the racket butt backwards, which a lot of people don't do. So I'm getting it there, now I'm getting set, I want to feel that. And then once I do that, now I can just practice some unit turns, getting here, showing the back, starting in a semi-open stance, and just practicing this over and over again. Now once you get this, now you can start to work out your spacing. One thing too, you can see, just want to make sure you guys can see the tennis ball there. Yes, I have this tennis Topspin Pro, so you can put a tennis ball down. You want to put it very close to your broom, a cone, a sock, put it very close. Now notice guys, for a toss and backhand, I had that ball, you really want to go out there, really go way out and reach. Now if I'm going to go to slice, that's too far out in front. See, I'm almost done my swing. Look at the difference. So I think a toss and backhand is much further out in front. A slice, to be consistent, it's going to be close to your broom, okay? So you're going to let the ball come a little further back. You're going to let it come to you more, but you do want to step out to. You want to have a nice healthy step. So I'm at the end of my broomstick. I have a nice healthy step out here. Go. Now that's a power position right there. I can really feel a lot of force coming at the tennis ball. Okay? Feel a lot of force coming right there. That's going to be a good shot, and then I can come through right there. Okay? So this is one thing that you can do at home, is to get the broom out, put a tennis ball down on the floor, or get your Topspin Pro out, and make sure that your target is very close to the broom. It's not way out there. I think a lot of people get that confused, thinking you got to reach way out to get a slice. Lots of times you're pretty much done your swing by then. We want it right there. Boom, that's the best power position. Look where I am. We'll take a picture right from the side so you can see the perfect contact point to the nice driving slice. So here we are, look at this. Notice where my foot is, my setup leg. Notice where the step goes and how we're still out in front, but it's a lot closer in than the topspin backhand, which I wouldn't mind being like right out there, okay? Right here is where you're gonna feel nice power. You should feel the power come from the back leg to the front leg and feel like you've got a lot of force behind that first move. So you can just practice this over and over again. And if you do have a topspin pro, you don't want the ball to be spinning that much. You just want to feel like a square hit, like you're gonna hit a volley. So you can even practice some volleys, getting some nice volleys. And one thing I want you to notice, I'm gonna move the camera around, is where I'm aiming more around the outside of the ball a little bit to get that drive. So when I'm hitting this slice, this is another thing I think people get wrong that make the ball float, is lots of people come too much to the inside bottom of the ball, and then the ball is going to take off and float. Whether I'm going to hit a nice solid backhand volley or a slice, I'm aiming to come more around the outside of the ball. Look at that. I'm trying to get like right there. Then I can really pop a nice cross-court slice that will stay low. And again, as I'm working my topspin pro, I want to go and I want to think about hitting a nice solid volley. You don't want to really try and, you know, get the ball spinning too much this way. Again, even though that looks cool, look how that ball is spinning. That's going to be something that takes off and floats. That's not going to be a solid backhand. That's not going to be a nice slice. And too many people think of the word, they hear slice and they want to really slice up the ball. This ball right here, that I come and do that, that's going to go right through the court and bite and stay low. It's going to have a drive through it. So make sure that you work at home and you just do that over and over again with find the contact, find your setup, find the contact, getting that first move down. Now we're going to work through the follow through and then do a little exercise and then we'll be ready to hit the court. So lately I've been seeing some online instruction videos which actually contradict what I'm about to teach you. I'm actually going to teach you what I've been hearing at the end, because it's not like what these instructors are saying isn't true, but I don't think it's going to work for the majority of you. In fact, I think it's going to end up being a consistency killer for the majority of you, and that is this idea. Like if you watch Francis Tiafoe, and you can see there's lots of acceleration, and he's pulling away over here really quick and cutting across the ball. Federer does that a lot. Looks like he's cutting across the ball, and you can get a lot of nice action, pace, but I don't recommend that for you. I think most of you doing that, if you haven't really developed a slice backhand, your ball is going to float. It's gonna take off like a helicopter, going up that way and moving out, instead of going through the court with nice bite, which is what you want. I like in the beginning, whenever we're learning a forehand, if we want to really feel a tennis ball, whether we're in the forehand, we want to stay with it long. A backhand, we want to stay in that contact point. Okay, the 6 inches before, the 6 inches after. And I think especially for a slice, to start to feel a nice drive, what you want to do is you want to come out here to the contact. Remember, now the broom is basically going to be my contact point. I come out here to the broom, I'm going to hit it, and then what I want to focus on is staying with it and keeping the racket on the same side of my body as long as possible. So I'm going to do that. I don't want to hit and then come to the other side of my body too fast. This is what makes the ball shoot up and fly for so many. Okay, not for Roger Federer, but for you out there watching, the 3-5 player who's looking to develop the slice for the first time, or a 4-0 who doesn't quite have control of the slice yet. We're here, out, through, done. Now what you can do there is you can place the tennis ball on the racket and just keep it there. Okay, and just do that again. So you come here, right here, hit. Now you can put the tennis ball right there, come through and finish, because that's how you want your strings to go. One more time, I'm going to come out here, hit, put the tennis ball there, through and finish. One thing too is the hit comes first, you go through a little bit, then you want to start to open up about there. If you do it too much on contact, this is why this is a good exercise to do. Take a look at how you hit it, that you go forward a little bit. See, I got that little forward push. Then about there, I want to start to put the ball on and then open up. Okay? If I come and if I hit like this, Because you see those pros, when they're done, they've got this nice finish where they're finishing over here or they're finishing more through it. You always kind of see this finish. You see a lot of instructors finish like this too. But if you do that too soon, if you make this little move in your wrist too soon, the ball is going to fly on you. It's going to be choppy. So watch how I'm practicing this here. I'm hitting, I'm taking a look at that contact. Look exactly how the contact is. Now I'm going to push through a little bit. From there I'm pushing through a little bit. Now I'm starting to open up. Then I can put the tennis ball there and finish. All right, that's how you want to start working on developing the slice backhand. That one went right through the court. Nice for us because I did that exact technique as I went to slice the ball. So this is everything you can do off the court to get ready to come on the court. Okay, our next bunch of drills, you can now move to the on the court self-feeding section, or you can choose a ball machine, or you can choose to go to the wall. Okay, welcome to the self-feeding section on our backhand slice challenge. And so this, you could just bring out some tennis balls, a bag of tennis balls, a basket of tennis balls. The first thing I want you to do is work on finding that spacing. So we've got the broom down. If you can bring the broom to the court, I think that's great. If not, you can just kind of, maybe just put a tennis ball there, or a tennis ball there, or a cone, or a towel, or whatever you need to do. I really like the broom. I think it's perfect spacing for me. So I'm going to be coming here over, just practice a couple of shadow swings, just to find myself and that rhythm. Notice how I'm pushing both hands away. Now once I feel that, I'm going to put a ball just in front of the broom, of the end of the broom, just in front. Remember, if it's too far out in front, we're not going to be able to feel that power in there. So we want just out in front of that, okay, which might take a little bit of practice to get it there. And now you can feel that nice drive through the ball. As I'm doing this, I'm looking to hit, oh, that was a really good one. I'm looking to hit the outside of that ball and then stay with it as long as I can. Okay? And you just find that, once you find that spacing, then we can start to move on to some other really cool stuff. Okay, so the next exercise we're going to do is we're going to get a racket back in the power position. Very important to find this power position, so we really work on the prep. So once we get our spacing down, now we're going to work on the prep. Make sure that we get more in a power position and we really feel that coming from out here, out and around to the outside of the ball. This is where we're going to start to develop some power. So you get the racket back. You can either have it just below your shoulder or above your shoulder. Either one's fine in this position where you can go to sleep on it. Then you're going to toss your ball out, grab the racket, and then see if we have a nice solid contact through the ball. That one felt really good. Let's see that again. I'm going to come here, get set, through the ball. You're trying to see how long you can stay with the tennis ball. Again, notice these balls are much closer into us than a tossing backhand where we want to have the ball much further out there. So again, I'm here, gonna get set, hit. And one more, just to feel like I've got it going. And yeah, I'm feeling like I've got a nice connection to the ball there as I'm hitting those slices. with every single consistency drill or session we do, we always have the Fed focus. It's such a good exercise, especially for the slice. So I'm going to put the ball out there, going to hit it. I'm not going to look to see where the ball goes, okay? So I'm just going to come here, focus on my contact, keeping the head still, and I bet you I can already just tell that was a really good slice. Just by the way it felt, which is going to help you. That's going to really help you develop your feel. You can not look to see where the ball goes, and you can start to guess, like, man, I think those are pretty good. Those first two definitely were good, and I didn't see where the ball went, but I know it was good just off of how it's feeling. That ball might have actually gone out, I don't know. But I'm just keeping my eye on the tennis ball. And those are feeling excellent. That Fed finish. Also, I make sure that I'm holding that for about 3 seconds. And again, I'm in this nice position where my arms are going away in opposite directions, chest towards the side of the fence. Super important when we're hitting our one-hand backhands, where we're doing a topspin or a slice. All right, we got one more drill to do before we do our challenge of the day. And remember, when you do the challenge of the day and you send it in, you get a $25 gift certificate to Tennis Express. This drill, we want to focus on our connection and our follow through. So what I'm looking to do here, and you might want to practice a couple in slow motion, is we're looking to hit and meet the ball about there. Look at how at the exact racket angle I'm at. Now I want to push through that and then open up, and then I'd put the tennis ball there. So that's what I'm going to focus on. Is I'm going to get, set, hit, done, put the tennis ball out. Okay, just to reinforce that finish. Going to do it again. I'm going to feel, am I driving through the ball? Yes, I am. Come here, have the tennis ball there. We'll take a look at a couple from the back so you can see that the ball has nice drive to it. And we're just focused on the technique, and that technique is going to produce the result that we want. So going to be implementing a lot of what I've been working on, just building blocks here, work on my Fed finish, hitting, done, putting the tennis ball there. Here we go, getting set, gonna hit that slice, okay, staying with it, looks good, tennis ball right there. Let's do one more. Great slice, getting done right there. You do that, you're going to avoid doing this. Watch this. And I'll show you how to do this the right way at the end, or at least give you a fighting chance. But a lot of people are doing out there, they're seeing Federer, seeing a lot of these pros slicing so quick and finishing there, that what ends up happening to your slice is something like this. You see, and that ball takes off because you're not spending any time through the hitting zone. That's the biggest consistency killer on the slice, is not feeling the connection and the drive and the push out. You need to feel that push out through, just like if your volley's off, you want to feel like you're pushing through that ball. And there we go. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go for our challenge. So we're going to get at the broom, we're going to put it out there. We're going to aiming slightly different today since it is a slice, and we want that ball to stay low. Okay, so here we go, guys. The backhand slice challenge is going to be a little different today. It's going to be the person who can make the most in a row. There is no timer today, and the reason why there's no timer is I find that the backhand slice is a very precision shot. In the beginning, you don't want to rush it, okay? People miss the backhand slice a lot because they end up rushing the shot. You want to take your time with this, so I'm not going to put a 2-minute timer on this. And notice what we have our broom up there. What's different about today is we want to keep the ball either level with the broom or below it if possible. And I'd rather you miss in the net. This is kind of interesting. With a lot of misses, like especially your topspin, I'd rather you miss long. I'd rather you get more height and the ball go a little long than hit in the net. I think that's a no-no. On the slice, I'd rather you make some mistakes in the net, especially if you have a choppy slice. Okay, so we're looking to keep that ball low. You want to learn how to keep it low. And what I want to do is I really want to reach out for that broom, okay? I really want to reach out for that broom. And so you can take some practice swings with the broom up and see if you can actually hit it, or even go a little lower and see how it works out for you, okay? See that? So that's pretty level with the broom, I'd say. Let me try it again. Aiming right after the broom. Now, that one went a little too high, and notice how the ball went out. And so what did I do there? I lifted my arm up too soon. I got to keep it level, reaching out for the broom. Now that was absolutely perfect. So the more you focus on going after the broom and really reaching out for it. So you put your racket up, and then it's going to come down and through and reach out to the broom. Like that was a nasty one. You see how low that stayed? And we just do this, and what you want to do, your challenge is to see how many in a row can you make before you miss. Okay, that's your challenge. I'm just going to kind of coach you through this today. I'm not going to keep score myself, but I just want to see how many in a row can you make before they go out or in the net. Then you got to start over. And you can try this because it is such an important shot. You can stay out here all day, and if you end up getting the top score when you send it in, you get that gift card. So there is no time limit. You can take as many tries as you want on this, and just focus on that. Going after that broom is really going to help you get that consistent target down. And I'm going to be back and give you guys a bonus video on how to do that advanced modern slice. Here's your bonus video on more of a modern slice backhand. I think you can't deny that the slice today seems to be even nastier, have more bite, more racket head speed. It's just a tougher shot to deal with what they're doing today. It's really amazing. Rafael Nadal, his slice. Francis Tiafoe, I love his slice. Obviously Federer's got one, although his slice has a blend of the old school and the new school. But what these pros are doing today is different than I was teaching you. Is first we want to establish the contact. That's super important. But then after that, you can cut across your body a little more, but the key is you got to come out and around the ball first. You got to feel the connection. It's like you're feeling the connection, you're feeling the bite, you're feeling the drive, and then you can pull away faster, and that's going to make the ball go even faster, add more side spin when it hits. The ball's going to do more crazy stuff when it hits the ground, and also I think with this, you even want to let it come back more. So you're just barely out in front of this, you're hitting it, and you're pulling away. And so you see where that finishes, and that ball really took off on me, and it's just got a nice tight feel to it. But you have to master the things I was teaching you in all the other videos before you can practice this pull away, and you can really accelerate more of the ball. With the other things I was teaching you today, I think it's better to have a nice, longer, smoother, maybe even slower stroke. This is all about having racket head speed, coming to the ball, feeling the tight connection, and then pulling away. We'll show you some from the back so you can see how those balls are really going fast over the net. They're skidding and staying even super low. Some like kind of cut back, and your opponent's gonna have a nightmare reading these. So if you can get this down, I definitely recommend you try it, but don't skip ahead. Like, you gotta be able to do the other stuff before you can do this. Okay, so watch what I'm doing. I'm gonna have the ball even closer to me. I'm gonna bring more racket head speed to the ball. I'm gonna feel it. I gotta feel it on the strings. Once I feel it connect and bite, then I can pull away. If I pull away before I feel that connection and bite, I haven't stayed with the ball long enough, and it's gonna float on me. So I've gotta feel the tight connection, then I can pull away. And you see how that ball really went much faster than the other things I was demoing today, and stays lower. So again, you see where I'm finishing there, and I just want to keep, it's so important to feel the connection before you pull away. That's all I can keep telling you guys, because if you pull away too soon, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to float and fly. So it's a lot of fun to hit. You can see the ball is biting more. It's more of an abrupt finish, okay? It's not this long, nice gliding motion. It's a little bit more of a violent move, and you can see when you do that, you can put a lot of action on the ball. Okay, that was a nasty one. Look how fast that's going. The ball is maybe even a little closer in the body than the other shots you're hitting. So it is a dangerous habit to develop unless you can really feel that move. But when you get it, you can see it can be really, really nasty, and that's more what you see the pros doing. But as I said, this is a bonus video, and I would do the other moves first, and then once you start to understand how you feel the connection, then you can go out and practice that shot.